There's a difference between relationship and religion. You have to have a good balance between working and having a great work ethic and also leaving room for faith, leaving room for God to come and do what only He can do. In 2026, invest in some therapy. Yes, it doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't. We all need a little help. It's okay. Invest in some therapy. Stop hiding behind your faith. Stop putting a band-aid of faith over dysfunction. And sometimes it's not even the devil, it's you. Your lack of emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, that really messed up a good thing. You will be your biggest project because you can make $1 million. You can make multi-$1,000 a year and still be empty if you have not done the work in yourself. You want the money, you want the car, you want the success, you want to stunt, you want to pop out. But if you don't do the work right now, when you pop out, when you get to level 10, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt because you didn't do the work. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time tuning in, nice to meet you. My name is Stefania, and if you're a returning viewer of mine, welcome back to the Blessed family. If you're new here, I would highly recommend subscribing. Over here on the Blessed family, we value all things growth, personal development, and our faith. And it just so happens in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 12 tips on how to level up in 2026. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. But before we do begin today's video, I would want to say that I am not an expert. I am just a regular person with lived life experiences, and some things that I've gone through have given me the wisdom that I share on videos like this, where I'm giving you guys tips that have worked for me. But I am still constantly growing. On every level I get to, I'm learning new things, and I'm evolving, as we all should. So it's safe to say that some of my ideas may evolve over time, but for this present day, this is the tips that have worked for me and that have truly helped me to level up. So let's get into why you clicked on this video. You want to level up. You want to go after your goals in 2026. You're ready. You're excited. You have all the pieces. You just need some tips, some motivation to really get you going. You clicked on this video and you landed in the right place. But I do want to give you a little secret. You will not be able to reach your goals. You won't be able to level up. You won't be able to do any of these things if you don't first start off with the first things first. And number one, the first tip I would love to give you how to level up is to get some rest. Get some rest. I know some of you are probably like, what? That is like opposite to, putting in motions, getting the LLC, getting the business account open, doing all of these things, skincare. And yes, we will get to that. But first things first is you have to prioritize rest in your life. There has been millions of studies that have shown that we are more productive. Our brain chemistry functions more properly. Creativity flows through your mind a lot better when you are at rest. And if it's one thing that I learned on this journey, is that you have to prioritize rest, because that is how we function. We're not human doings, we're human beings, and our greatest potential is unleashed when we're in a state of being, in a state of rest. And for some of you who never been at rest, you're always trying to go and try to do, try to fix, trying to be. I would highly recommend in 2026, I love this scripture that it tells us, come to him, which is God, all who are weary, and he will give you rest. Because some of us can sleep a full 8 hours and still not get enough rest because our mind and our soul is constantly going, or constantly thinking of different things. And in 2026, prioritize rest. Physical rest, mental rest, spiritual rest. Prioritize rest, because that is the only way that ideas will begin to flow, is when you're at a state of rest and peace. So what I've practiced doing a lot these past couple of weeks or months is that when I feel really stressed, when I feel really overwhelmed, and I feel like something is just gonna take me over the edge, I started taking deep breaths. And you guys, it's so powerful what a deep breath can do. It just resets your whole mind. It's like resetting your phone, just a deep breath. How many of us, we go throughout our day busy, working, our posture won't even stand. It's like our minds have been trained to be in a constant state of go, go, go. Our bodies, our nervous system is not aligned. And if you want to be the best version of yourself, if you want to level up like never before in 2026, I want you to prioritize rest. Take more deep breaths in, out, exhale, pray, talk to God, talk to your Father. He cares. Anything that's worrying you in your mind. And also, you want to also check your motives. That's something that I didn't put on the list, but I felt to say it here. Check your motives. Why are you trying to level up? Are you trying to stunt on somebody? Which, yeah, I don't blame you. You know, it feels good to like show people like they really had you messed up. But what I've learned is you have to release that negative energy of unforgiveness to truly level up. Unforgiveness is like a weight that weighs you down. I really feel to say that because to truly be at rest and at peace with your soul, you have to clear out baggage. Unforgiveness is baggage. Bitterness is baggage. Resentment is baggage. If you truly want to be at rest and at peace, to kickstart your new year, to really bring in those fresh new ideas, those wonderful opportunities, you have to release the baggage from your soul. And you can't do it alone. You need to partner with God to do this, but this is so important, and I had to spend some time so you could really understand how important it is to be at rest. Because we think in our minds, right? If I grind 72 hours a day, even though there's not 72 hours a day, but if I constantly grind, if I constantly do this, then I'm going to get there faster. One thing that I learned about life is that we make plans and God truly laughs. I wasn't even going to say any of this, but that's how you know the Holy Spirit's flowing. We make plans and God laughs. And you have to have a good balance between working and having a great work ethic and also leaving room for faith, leaving room for God to come and do what only He can do. That's what I've learned. That's what I'm currently still learning. As somebody who is super ambitious, I will go, 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 go. But I realized when I'm at rest, I get so many ideas that come to my mind. When my mind is clear, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush. And I believe there's a scripture in Proverbs that talks about making hasty decisions, that when you make haste and rush decisions, when you're not at rest, that's when you make the most mistakes because you don't have enough time to truly do your due diligence to look at all the facts. Every bad decision that I've ever made in my life, I made it in haste. I made it in a place where I wasn't at rest. That's why this first tip is so, so important. Prioritize time for rest. So let's move on to tip number 2. How can you level up in 2026? Tip number 2, I think this goes without saying. If you know me, then you probably know where I'm headed with this one. But I think just as it is important to prioritize rest and set aside time for rest, it is just important that you develop your relationship with God. And I don't mean it in a religious way, because sometimes we have the tendency, and I have been guilty of this, so no judgment to anyone who battles with this, is sometimes we can over spiritualize things and get into religious mode. We miss the simple instructions of God. We miss the simplicity of who God is. And so that's why I said relationship. There's a difference between relationship and religion. One separates us from God. One places high, burdensome expectations on us that we cannot meet. And we're humans. We're going to mess up. It's bound to happen. As a human being, we're going to mess up. In relationship, God is with you. He walks with you. He talks with you. Even through your mistakes, he's there with you. So in 2026, I would highly encourage you to develop a relationship with your maker, with your Father. Because the truth is, 85% of the things that are going to happen in your life is going to be outside of your control. Things are just going to happen. That is life. It is guaranteed. The longer you keep on living, you go find out. Life is going to happen. And you cannot go through this life alone. You can't do it alone. You need someone or something, a source that is bigger than you, rather. To me, I find that in my relationship with my Father, with my Lord. And it's not in a religious sense where, I'm holding myself to unrealistic standards, but it's knowing that I am incapable of doing this thing. I cannot do this alone. Half of what I've done already, I did not do it alone. I can't take credit for it. I'm just not that. I'm capable, don't get me wrong, but I'm just not that all-knowing to think about every corner that I have to meet, or you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm just not that all-knowing, but I serve a God who is. And so if you want an advantage in 2026 and moving forward, prioritize a relationship with God. You don't even have to start in a big way. It could be prayers throughout your day, talking to God. You know what I've also began to do? I've also began to ask God, not that he has to, but in his grace, he has done it, to show me evidence of him in my life. Anytime I feel overwhelmed, or I feel like maybe something's not going to happen, I ask God as evidence that he has heard me, to show me something, or to reveal himself in a specific way. And that is how he builds relationship with us. God doesn't have to do that. But because he's a gracious Father, he knows what every single one of us needs. And so I had to bring this point on, because that is one of the ways that you will for sure level up in 2026, 2027, 2028, is developing a relationship with your Father. Now, number 3. This one, I might catch some flack. This one, number 3. How you're going to level up in 2026. Invest in therapy. Yeah. Jesus and therapy. And you know why I say that? Because a lot of Christians mask, and this is where the religion comes in, behind their faith so much, dysfunction, that sometimes deliverance doesn't get, sometimes prayer doesn't get, sometimes you need therapy. Sometimes you need that strategy to turn the light bulb on so you can recognize your own patterns and shift from it. Because what tends to happen is either we're on one side of the extreme. It's either we're like, no, I don't want nothing to have to do with faith. God can't help me with this. I can do it all by myself. Me. Or we're on the other side of the extreme where all I need is Jesus. I don't need to do anything. I can do this all by myself. And you're not getting the help that you need. And some of us really have mental disorders. And it's really not talked about enough. Narcissism in the church. What is it? Multiple personality disorders in the church. Psychopaths in the church. So in 2026, this wasn't even on my list, but we're just going to throw it in here. Stop hiding behind your faith. Stop hiding dysfunction behind your faith. This was not on my list. But we're going there. Stop hiding dysfunction behind your faith. Deal with the things that are in your soul. Deal with the patterns that you know is off, but you're waiting for God to, and he can. We know that God can do anything, but you're waiting for God to miraculously do a thing that you refuse to confront. That's religious bondage. And some of us, I'm starting to get into, I forgot this author's name, but he talks a lot about religious psychosis, where we get so enmeshed in our faith that we're incapable to see our own humanity. And sometimes when we're incapable to see our own humanity, we can go around messing up other people's lives or messing up our own life and then putting a band-aid of faith over it. I don't think that's orderly. I don't think that's God. From what I've learned about the Lord so far, God is orderly. And so I think he has created certain people with tools, psychologists, neurologists, even some great therapists. I've gone to therapy. There are some things that I needed to, challenge or overcome that I was able to in therapy. And it's no shame. It's no shame. There's no shame going to therapy, sitting down and having someone help you with the tools that you need to confront the strongholds in yourself. Because sometimes what deliverance doesn't do, and deliverance is very powerful, because I believe at a certain point we do need deliverance. But what deliverance doesn't do, therapy comes in and does the residue. So in 2026, invest in some therapy. Yes, it doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't. We all need a little help. It's okay. Invest in some therapy. Stop hiding behind your faith. Stop putting a band-aid of faith over dysfunction. It's not going to fly. Nah. In 2026, we need to change our patterns. We need to hold ourselves accountable, because this is something else. This was not on my list. I'm getting in trouble today. Some of us need to hold ourselves accountable and stop hiding behind our faith. Some of the choices you made got you in some situations, and accountability and partnering your faith with God will get you out of it. Not hiding behind your faith. I wasn't going to go there, but hey. Number 4. How are you going to level up in 2026? If you've noticed so far, a pattern with these tips so far, I've only addressed the internals, the mental, spiritual, emotional, because these areas we have to master first before we can get to any level of success. You will be your biggest project, because you can make $1 million. You can make multi-$1,000 a year and still be empty if you have not done the work in yourself. So we're first starting off with the internals, the mental, the spiritual. We are addressing all the dysfunction in 2026, because you want the money, you want the car, you want the success, you want to stunt, you want to pop out. But if you don't do the work right now, when you pop out, when you get to level 10, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt because you didn't do the work. So with that being said, at number 4, if you want to level up in 2026, you will need to develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Realizing that not everything deserves your reaction. And there's a scripture that talks about, which I was reading actually this morning, be slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to speak. My alarm going off for something. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. That is a level of emotional intelligence we need, because anger in a lot of situations, not only does it cloud our judgment, but it can put us in situations that we don't want to be in. And speaking from somebody who dealt with this in 2025, allowing anger and just quick reactions to really mess up situations, you don't want to be there. You don't want to look back and realize, oh man, I messed up my own life with my own emotional reactions because I didn't know how to handle my own emotions. I went and screwed this thing up. And sometimes it's not even the devil, it's you. Your lack of emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, that really messed up a good thing. And I'm speaking for myself because holding myself accountable, I realized there were some emotional reactions. I didn't have the tools. But again, with therapy and getting real raw with myself, I was able to identify, okay, this is where we're off a little bit. Let's change that. So in 2026, I'm gonna need you to develop emotional intelligence. A really good book that I read regarding this is by Daniel Goleman, called Emotional Intelligence. And I'm getting ready to read another book. It is called The Let Them Theory, which we're gonna get into later on. But so moving on to number 5. How you're going to level up in 2026 is by guarding your heart. Guarding your heart. Some of us get in situations, we stay longer in situations that we were never supposed to entertain. Our hearts weren't even supposed to be opened up to those situations, but because we lack boundaries, which is not a bad word. Boundaries is not a bad word. These are some of the tools that you learn in therapy, right? We get in situations we were never supposed to be in because we lacked boundaries. We didn't guard our heart. You are a wonderful investment. Your heart is a thing that is worth protecting. You should have boundaries. You should have a system in place where you're able to discern who is coming in and out of your life, who you're giving your time to, who you're sharing personal things with. I am a certain type of person. I can count on one hand how many people I share deep things with and I have a close relationship with, because unfortunately, not everyone means well. Unfortunately, some people just do bad things. They may not be bad people, but they do bad things out of their own trauma, out of their own pain. And if we don't discern the people that we're allowing into our lives, it can wreak havoc later on. And so for number 5, I need you to guard your heart. Guard your heart. Pray for discernment. Ask for discernment to discern every single thing, every single opportunity, every single person that's entering your life. Pray for discernment. There was this one lady, and I'm sure you guys have heard the story. Her closest friend, poured acid, attacked her with acid on a train station. I believe it was New York. I could be wrong, but I'll find the story. Her closest friend. I know she didn't ever think that would be her situation, but sometimes people do really awful things, and I don't want that to be any of you guys. So guard your heart in 2026. Be discerning about who you let into your life, who you share things with. And really, use discernment. So now we're getting to the physical. We've done all the emotional, spiritual, mental work. Now let's move on to the physical, how you are going to level up in 2026. Number 1, change up your diet and add more greens. Reduce sugar. And this is something that I've been working on since 2025. Sugar tastes so good. I mean, it tastes so good, but it's so bad for you. A lot of the illnesses, inflammation, diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, all of these different things, you will find sugar in there somewhere. So start changing what you're eating. I have some recipe videos that I've posted. Even juicing, I began juicing natural juices, cucumbers, beets, celeries. Because if you want to attain a certain level of wealth, you got to be around to enjoy it. How are you going to enjoy your wealth if you're not going to be around rather? Yes, like I was saying before my camera died, you want to be around for the wealth that you're trying to accumulate, for the goals that you want to reach. Your health should be primary. So switch up what you're eating. Take away the junk food. And it's not to say that you can't indulge here and there, because I surely do. Every now and then, I love a good chocolate chip cookie. and I indulge every now and then, but I do also keep my weight goals at the forefront, my health. I take my vitamins and do things like that because it's so important that you not only get to the point of success, but you're able to live it and enjoy it with your friends, family, and things of that nature. So, I believe we're on number 7. The 7th thing that you can do to level up in 2026 is start regularly exercising 2 to 3 times a week. Now, when I first started off, what I used to do is, because I am not a gym rat, little by little I'm turning into one, but when I first started off, I started going 15 minutes on a treadmill twice a week, little by little, start off slow. With any major goal that you're gonna try to reach in life, it's so important that you pace yourself. Give yourself time to build the habit, to build the routine. Don't go all in 7 times a week. I don't think that's wise and the best strategy for long term. So what I started to do when I first started going to the gym, I would just go on the treadmill, walk 15 minutes. Then I raised it up to 25. Then I raised it up to 30. Now I'm at an hour. So little by little, you raise up the goals, and then you'll get to your desired goal eventually. It's really, really important because our health is wealth. Number 8. If you want to level up in 2026, moving forward, as a woman, you want to switch up your wardrobe. Switch it up. So if you're a woman who doesn't usually wear white, start investing in neutral colors, white, beige, nice forest green, nice, beautiful colors that complement your skin tone. And everyone is different, but I'm going to take a couple pictures and place them on here. Invest in your wardrobe. Switch it around. Try something new that you never worn. Maybe you're not a dress girl. Maybe in 2026, try it out. See how you like it. Some skirts. It doesn't hurt to try because you never know. You might end up liking it. Switch it up. Invest a really good wardrobe. If you don't know what to wear, there are some really good channels, and I'm going to try to find them and link them here, that teach you how to dress. On this day and age, you cannot have excuses because most of the things that we want to achieve, there's somebody on the internet, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, teaching you how to do it. So if you're not confident in your dress code and you want to learn how to dress, there are people on here that's showing you how to match different color palettes, what looks good next to your skin tone. I would highly recommend searching those out. Invest in your wardrobe because what is very true is that people judge you based off of appearance. Sad but true. When somebody first sees you, they feel your energy, they feel you as a person, but they are seeing the outside first. And so you want to really show up as the best version of yourself and invest in quality clothes and things that could really make you feel your best. And this actually goes with number 8, but number 9, invest in your nails, your hair, your skin, taking your vitamins. And these are some vitamins that I recommend taking, that I am currently taking, that's really helping me. I take fish oil, which is a necessary ingredient vitamin. I believe this helps with eye health, your skin, your gut health. There are so many other benefits to taking fish oil. I've been taking this for going on a couple weeks now, and I've seen a difference in my energy levels, my skin, my metabolism. So you're only supposed to take 2 a day, but I do the one with the I believe it's 2400 mg, and this is per serving. And this doesn't have the fishy taste. I take it and I don't get those fishy burps. I would highly recommend this as a fish oil. And then I also take these women's multivitamins that also have biotin. Let me see if I could zoom in. So these have biotin, collagen. They have vitamin B12, vitamin C. You get these all packed in one, and there's multiple places that have multivitamins. I've been taking these lately, and I would recommend them. I also take collagen. It's another important vitamin that we as women need for healthy hair growth, skin, and things like that. Not only are you watching what you're putting into your body, but also taking the necessary vitamins that you need, because you don't want to be out here looking any kind of way. And it's not just about applying makeup and covering it up, but it's really about doing your research, what vitamin that you need, that you're deficient in, that you may need to help your skin, and really doing your due diligence. So these are the top 3 that I recommend. I believe there's another one. Vitamin B12 is another one. But you get the point. Take your vitamins. Invest in your nails. You don't even have to, if you are not somebody who can afford going to somebody's nail salon every day, get you some press-ons. I got some press-ons from, what was that store? Temu. They give you a full set. Like, it's in my bathroom, but they literally give you a full set with like 50 different nails. So if you want to switch it up, you want to change it around, you want to still remain polished and look together, and you don't have a whole lot of money to constantly be in the salon, get you some press-ons. Learn how to do your own face, even if it's minimal makeup. You don't have to do a whole lot, but the key here is to hold yourself accountable to learn these things, because nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to, bail you out. You have to do these things. You have to do your due diligence, especially as a woman, because these tips will help you later down the line. Now, number 10, I said in the beginning, but since we're talking about physical health, you need to get enough sleep. 8 hours is the recommended sleep that we need to fully energize. And as women, you don't want to wake up with bags in your eyes. So you want to make sure you get a right amount of sleep, set an alarm, whatever you have to do to maintain your sleep schedule. That way you're not waking up looking tired, looking drained, low energy. Vitamins could really help with that, but also you need to partner your vitamins with getting enough sleep, getting enough rest. And number 11, so these are 2 bonus ones that I'm just gonna throw in there because I love you guys and I want y'all to do your best for 2026. Number 11, I want you to, if you want rather, to level up in 2026, what you will have to do is stop caring what people think. Loose yourself from the shackles of people pleasing, because ultimately where you're going to get to in life, you're going to have to lock in and do the things that the average person does not want to do. And sometimes what that comes with, it attracts people speaking negatively about you or telling you that you think you're all that, you think you're better, whatever. In 2026, if you really want to level up, you have to stop caring what people think. You can't allow someone who hasn't been where you want to be talk you out of a dream that only God gave you. And I find that in most times, right? And if we're speaking in the religious context, what tends to happen is fear. What most Christians won't do, and they see another Christian doing, is like, well, and I'm all for using discernment, right? I'm very big on using discernment and knowing what spaces to be in and different things like that. But I'm not a big fan of speaking fear into what God calls individual people to do. Everybody may not understand it. God may place somebody in an industry that most Christians won't go into, and that's fine, but that's not up to us for us to make that decision. They shouldn't be there. How do we know that? So I think what's really important in 2026 is to really lock in with God and to really free yourself from that religious mindset that really holds you back from living the life to the fullest extent that God has for you on the other side. Because it's bondage, and we don't want to be in bondage in 2026. We want to be free, we want to be blessed, and we want to be operating at the highest level of ourselves that God has already ordained for us. And the last one, special bonus, because this was originally going to be 10, but the 12th way that you are going to level up in 2026 is learn about money. This is such an important thing, especially, I'm very passionate about this, especially as a woman. You should not be out here broke, struggling, depending on a man for money. And we get it, a man's role is to provide. But as a woman, you should have your own talents, strengths, education, financial literacy that you can fall back on in case something happens to your husband. Because, you know, not all men cheat. I don't believe that narrative that all men cheat. But yeah, in case something happens to your husband, he's not able to be there to provide for you and the family, whatever. And even if that's not the case, you want to be able to be financially literate enough to the point where you and your children will be okay if anything happens to the primary breadwinner, which assuming is your husband. Assuming. So what I've started to do, I've started investing in my time and resources in watching different channels, purchasing different courses that teach you about the 401k, high yield savings account. I'm learning about that now, reinvesting in the stock market, because how are you going to be out here beautiful, I mean, drop dead beautiful and broke? No, it can't continue like that. Invest in 2026, invest in financial literacy, start a business, do the things that has been on your heart to do. And in some cases, you can actually earn a living from them. And there are plenty of resources. There is zero excuse, because there are plenty of resources that teach about financial literacy, that teach about building wealth. There's this YouTuber, I forgot her name. I think Aaron on Demand.
This better be your year. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to build a strong personal brand this year. So I'm not letting up on you until you do it, because having a strong personal brand can literally change the trajectory of your life. And I'm going to tell you exactly what. I'm Erin, and this is Erin on Demand. And today we are talking about how to build a strong personal brand in 2026, because everyone in 2026 should have a personal brand. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty, I first want to start off with what a personal brand is. A personal brand is not how many followers you have. It is not about being fake or performative. It is not about a certain aesthetic. It ain't about none of that. Having a personal brand, a strong personal brand, is at the core about what people think of you when they hear your name. That's it. And whether you believe it or not, whether you post or not, you have a personal brand. It's just maybe you haven't developed it intentionally online for you to receive opportunities around your personal brand. And that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, having a personal brand can literally be life-changing. It was life-changing for me, having an online social media personal brand. I will clarify that that is the context in which we are talking about personal brands in this video. But once I started taking my personal brand seriously, I had just finished my job at National Geographic. I couldn't find another job. I moved back home. And the thought that kept me going was, if National Geographic can see something in me, there's something there and I need to dig deeper. And I always wanted to have a YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel really gave me a lot of exposure because I was sharing the ins and outs of me moving back home with my parents and trying to kind of bootstrap starting this business. And that literally, picking up my camera, literally changed my life. And I decided to go all in with my personal brand and building the business side of having a personal brand. And that is kind of what I'm going to share with you today, how you can do that for yourself. Okay, so there are a couple reasons why I think everyone needs a personal brand. The first is because job security is just not even a thing anymore. And I personally feel like having a personal brand is an insurance policy, because the amount of opportunities that it can open you up to, whether that is brand partnerships, whether that's traveling, multiple streams of income, like you can sell your own digital products, physical products. It can open you up to a world of possibility for business ventures, just networking, meeting people in places that you want to be. And it's invaluable, regardless of if you want to keep your job or eventually leave your traditional corporate job. Like either way, having a strong personal brand is I guarantee you it will open up doors to new opportunities.
There's another woman, I really admire her, but there are several other boss entrepreneur women out here who are giving us the game, giving us the gems on how to create wealth as a woman. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to sell your body. You can use your creativity, your God-ordained mind to make it. You don't have to compromise your self-worth and your self-respect. So that is 12 tips that you can use to level up in 2026. These tips have been working for me. I've used them. I'm still using them. I'm still on this journey. I'm forever learning, forever growing, and forever evolving. And I just wanted to share this with you guys because sharing is caring. And if you like this video, whatever jumped out to you that you felt resonated with you most in today's video, I want you to drop down in the comments and tell me, what are you gonna be using to help better your life, help you to level up? Let me know down in the comments. And if you know anyone who this video will benefit to, I want you to go ahead, share it with them, and subscribe. And I'll be back in my next video. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye.